Am I the a-hole for refusing to switch seats on a long train ride even after being called selfish? I, 29F, take a commuter train 3 times a week for work. It's about a 3-hour ride each way, and I always book the same seat. Window, forward-facing, near the middle of the car. I get motion sick easily, and sitting anywhere else usually means nausea, headaches, or spending half the ride in the bathroom. This particular day was already rough. I had worked late the night before, slept maybe 4 hours, and was running purely on coffee and stubbornness. I boarded the train early, put my headphones on, and settled in. About 20 minutes into the ride, a woman in her late 40s came up to me with a man and a teenage boy behind her. She said, "Excuse me, would you mind switching seats with my son? He gets anxious sitting backward." I paused my music and asked where the seat was. She pointed to a backward-facing aisle seat near the bathroom. I politely said, "Sorry, I can't, I get motion sick." She frowned and said, "It's just for a few hours." I told her I specifically booked this seat for a reason. I thought that would be the end of it. It wasn't. She sighed loudly and said, "Wow, he's a kid." The man behind her added, "You don't look sick." I replied calmly, "I don't need to look sick to be sick." They walked away, but about 10 minutes later, the woman started loudly talking to another passenger across the aisle about how selfish people have become, and how no one has empathy anymore. I ignored it. Then the teenage boy sat down in the seat directly across from me and stared. Not discreetly, just full-on staring. Every time I looked up, he was watching me. The parents whispered loudly enough for me to hear phrases like, "Some people think they're special, and must be nice to only care about yourself." Eventually, another passenger chimed in and said, "Couldn't you just move? It's just a seat." That's when I snapped, not yelling, but firm. I said, "I paid for this seat. I have a medical issue." I said, "No. Please stop harassing me." The woman scoffed and said, "Medical issue? Sure." At that point, the conductor came by. I explained what was happening. The family tried to say I was being rude and uncooperative. The conductor checked tickets, confirmed my seat assignment, and told them they needed to stop bothering me or move cars. They left, glaring the entire way. For the rest of the ride, I could feel people looking at me differently. Like I had committed some unspoken social crime by not sacrificing my comfort for someone else's child. When I told my coworker later, she said, "I mean, you could have just sucked it up." But here's the thing. I've sucked it up before. I've spent train rides vomiting, dizzy, humiliated, and miserable because I didn't want to seem rude. This time, I chose myself, and apparently that made me the villain. Am I the a-hole?